So I went into this film with no expectation and I was still a little disappointed. Hello everyone, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at the newest horror film, Tarot. The film follows friends who unwittingly unleash an unspeakable evil trapped within a cursed deck of tarot cards. One by one, they come face to face with fate, racing against death to escape the future foretold in their reading. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really have much good to say about this film. The presentation, the plot, and the character decisions really messed this film up for me, but we'll get into that later on in the video. The effects were pretty cool. The use of visual effects is always interesting to see in horror films. I like seeing the creativity used with CGI and visual effects to bring new horror movie monsters to life. I feel like with the advancement of CGI, you can do so much more. I know this is going to be stale for a lot of people who prefer practical effects, but me, I enjoy some well-crafted and well-placed CGI. Horror, to me, is one of the best genres to actually use CGI outside of action. If you do it just right, I feel like you can bring some really good effects to life, especially in genres like psychological horror. And with that being said, I'm going to be honest, and I liked the design of a lot of the monsters in this film. Bringing to life the tarot aspect of the film and bringing to life the cards was actually very interesting to see, and I feel like it was probably the best thing about the film. I also like a good supernatural aspect to a film. It's always fun to see the supernatural play out in horror films. It plays to that sense of the unknown, in my opinion, and the supernatural is like the gateway to the unknown by far. You know, I have to say I blame COVID-19 for this film. I really feel like during COVID-19 and during lockdown, a lot of people were getting interested in tarot and astrology. I know the film was based off of a 1992 book that was written called Horoscope, but I have a feeling that the popularity or the increase in popularity of tarot over the past couple of years probably led to this film actually being produced and released. This film really is a very self-contained horror that does a lot with a little. And the truth is, I think I saw only about like 4 to 5 locations in the film. And it's not really that surprising when you look at the budget, which was only $8 million. But that is it for the good. Now, the bad. I feel like trailers are really giving away way too much of the film. Way too much. And in truth, I felt like I watched this film in the trailer. It felt like I knew what some of the best parts of the movie were going to be, even though I hadn't watched the movie yet. It's like the trailers give away some of the best parts of the movie to capture your attention, and that is literally all the film is. There's nothing left to the imagination. And another big thing was, to me, this really wasn't scary. This wasn't scary. As a person who actually does get scared at horror movies sometimes, at really well crafted horror, I watched this without flinching or blinking at all. I could see the scares coming from a mile away, and the only scare factor in the film was the jump scares. And overall, I felt like this film moved a little too fast. The plot kind of just moved from one point to the other, and by the end of the film, it felt like the characters' deaths were the plot points to the movie. And one of the things I was quite surprised was that the film jumped right into the story. We're getting rid of that whole 10-minute hook thing that used to be where you would see an intro to an actual horror movie through the hook. That was the first 10 minutes. This film didn't have that at all. So when it comes to the plot points, I will say that there is no build-up. There is just straight up scary movie moment after scary movie moment after scary movie moment. This was a very generic horror film. With the supernatural, I feel like you have so many opportunities to scare someone. However, this really stuck to a very generic plot of you read the cards, you die. It doesn't get any more in depth than that, and the quest to solve it really isn't that much. It's just the straight up going from one place to the other, and there's no sense of journey or adventure in this film. But the biggest thing that really turned me off of this film had to be the character decisions. And to be quite honest with you, I am getting tired of character decisions in horror movies. It feels like the characters really start to make dumb decisions because the plot requires them to make dumb decisions. For example, in this film, if you're told not to run, the simple way to beat the horror is not to run. But then the character still runs for the sake of the plot? Or why do the characters split up when they should be sticking together? That to me really just makes no sense. And I guess that's just horror movie moments, but in all honesty, this film felt like it was a collection of some of the worst horror movie tropes you could find. And another side note is, one of the things I'm really getting tired of in horror movies is not showing the gore. Really, when the things are starting to get messy, it feels like they either cut away from the actual action that's happening, or they use a camera angle or a film angle that insinuates the horror being done but doesn't really show it. I know that sometimes it could be said that it's being left to the imagination, but in all honesty, it also could be very cheap and very gimmicky and very lazy. And this film, along with a lot of other modern horror films, do this, where they just kind of get to the point to where the horror is going to happen, and then they cut away, or they film it in a way where you don't actually see it, but you can insinuate it's happening, but not really see it. So it's a PG-13 movie, and I feel like that rating really hinders a lot of horror films because you can't show what you really want to show, and that's the good part of horror. I feel like if this film was rated R, you would probably get so much more, but it's rated PG-13, and for that reason, it's going to take a very PG-13 to the horror, which to me, it's not really made for real horror fans. Tarot is a very simple and generic horror movie. If you're looking for something to watch on a Friday night and you want a roller coaster of jump scares, go and see this movie. But if you're looking for true horror, don't get your hopes up. Now that's it for this film, guys. If you like this video, like this video. If you love this video, hit the subscribe button and let me know in the comment section below. Did you watch Tarot? What did you think? Was it a good movie? Was it bad? Was it scary? Was it not scary? Let me know your opinion in the comment section. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next video.